Someone you love has just died. The body is still warm. The room is silent. And your first instinct, before grief, before shock, is to do something. You feel it immediately: a pull, an obligation, a need to not just leave them there. Now imagine that feeling with no funeral home to call, no coffin, no priest, no protocol, no culture, just you, the body, and the same raw instinct pulling at your chest. What would you do? That question haunted archaeologists for decades, because for most of human prehistory there was no answer. We assumed ancient humans simply left their dead behind, moved on, treated death the way animals do. No ritual, no meaning, no burial. But the real answer is far stranger, and far more human than anyone expected. Your relationship with death did not begin when civilization did. It did not begin with religion, or language, or the invention of the grave marker. It began much, much earlier. And what your ancestors did with their dead reveals something about who you are right now in ways you have never been asked to consider. Let's go back, way back. 300,000 years ago, a group of early humans lived in what is now southern Africa. These were not Homo sapiens, they were Homo naledi, a species with a brain roughly the size of a large orange. Small, primitive, not the kind of creature you would expect to have complex thoughts about mortality, not the kind of creature you would expect to bury anything. In 2013, a team of cavers discovered an almost unreachable underground chamber in a cave system called the Rising Star Cave outside Johannesburg. They had to squeeze through a passage 7.5 inches wide, drop 20 feet in near darkness, and crawl on their stomachs for almost 40 meters. When they finally reached the chamber, they found over 1,500 fossil fragments. All Homo naledi, all in the same place. No predator marks on the bones, no evidence of a flood or catastrophe that might have washed them there, no other animals mixed in. Paleoanthropologist Lee Berger, who led the excavation, spent years trying to explain it, and the conclusion his team reached was extraordinary. These small-brained, primitive creatures had been deliberately placed there, carried, by others of their kind, through a passage too dark to navigate without some kind of light, to a chamber that had no other purpose. This was not accident. This was intent, and it rewrote the timeline of human grief by at least 200,000 years. But Homo naledi was not alone in this. Neanderthals, often dismissed as brutes, as evolutionary losers, as the extinct cousins not worth thinking about, were burying their dead at least 50,000 years ago, possibly longer. At a site called Shanidar Cave in what is now northern Iraq, archaeologist Ralph Solecki uncovered a Neanderthal skeleton in 1960, surrounded by a dense concentration of pollen. His interpretation was immediate and emotional. The Neanderthals had laid flowers on the grave. Scientists have argued about Solecki's flower burial ever since. Skeptics pointed out that the pollen may have been carried in by burrowing rodents. But what no one could argue away was the body itself, intentionally placed, carefully positioned on its side, in a deliberate orientation. Around it, the remains of at least 9 other individuals. A family, perhaps. A group. A community that did not leave its dead behind. Why does this matter to you? Because the moment your ancestors began